Hello, hello, coaches. We're here with one of the first episodes of the C2C podcast, where today I'm going to share with you how you need to speak with your clients so you can get them to be in alignment with you to eventually join your program. When it comes to content, disconnected and generic content are literally the two largest problems that I see when I'm cruising through Instagram and I'm looking at other coaches' social media channels. There are just so many amazing, well educated coaches that end up getting caught in this trap of trying to keep their content super broad to attract everybody. But on top of this, they're also doing a very bad thing, and that is talking over the person that they're trying to reach. And in doing that, they actually make it impossible for someone to connect with them on a level that they're going to say, hey, I want to pay and sign up for one of your programs. And here's the thing with that: these coaches, they're not even aware that they're doing this with their copy. They're trying really hard, just as I'm sure you're trying really hard to provide value and show up at a high level every single day. But yet, no one's reaching out to them to take the next step, and no one is saying, hey, I want to buy one of your programs. So here's what they're doing, and it's something that I call coach speaking. I call it coach speaking because it's referring to really a style of verbiage in certain words that are only used by coaches for other coaches, so that way they can understand, and not by coaches for clients for them to understand. So think of it this way: imagine you're a physicist and you want other people to know that a bomb is something that's dangerous. And I'm going to talk and I'm going to share really, really high level studies. I'm going to use foreign words that speak over the person that I'm trying to warn. That's not going to work. And that would be really, really dumb. I wouldn't use words based on science or probably even number showing to explain the danger. I would really want to choose to talk to the person who's not in a science background in a way that they can understand. I would look at the person and I'd say, hey, listen, the bomb can seriously hurt your family, it can hurt your friends, and when you hear this sound, you should run, and you could run fast. Now, it's just an example, but basically, from a coach speaking perspective, coach speaking in a nutshell uses a really high level of verbiage for basically anything that you're trying to get people to connect to. Okay, so here are some great examples when it comes to the words. So the word integrity is something that a lot of coaches use. And this word is used to describe a client when they're not doing something. Now, most coaches or mentors, they know exactly what that word means. I know you know what the word integrity means. And it's a great word for coaches to market to other coaches, but clients don't exactly hop on consults with you saying that they're out of integrity. They probably say to you, I'm lacking motivation, or I need accountability. So you see, with content, you need to be making content that people can relate to with a level that they're at. So if you're talking to them from the end destination in mind, it may be very difficult for someone to connect with you because logical reason is going to get in their way. Logically, they know you're in the right place where they want to be. Like maybe you're super fit and healthy and have a great body. You eat healthy, you work out 7 days a week, you have a good life, you got good boundaries. Well, logically, you look like the coach that has the life that the ideal client wants. But then you start using words like integrity, leadership, fulfillment, desire, mindfulness, and this is words that they never use. So they start to see you as someone who's so far away from their starting point because they're thinking with words like accountability. They're thinking with words like needing a plan, motivation, and struggling with habits. Now, to me and you, these words are just a different way of saying the same thing. But to the clients and to the people that you're speaking to who are watching your content, they create a disconnect where people have to logically separate to see whether that's a word that defines them in order to then make a decision on whether or not they need to connect with you. And you know what's worse? Most of those coaches using coach speak then combine this with telling people generic wants. They put in their content, you want to feel better, you aren't happy with who you are, you want to work on yourself. So these things are just too generic and they leave so much to be imagined by the person watching and digesting your content that they're forced to also logically fill in the blanks to see if they can get to what you are showing them. So this is where you start to lose people emotionally. When they're looking at your content, they're not fully bought in. Now, when I say emotionally, I'm not talking about making someone cry every single post, but we need them to connect on a level that when they read or see your content, they're going to say, "You are literally speaking right to me. You are talking and showing an example of my life." So, as an example of this live on this podcast, I'm going to make up a piece of content right now, and it's going to be directed right to you, to the coaches who are listening, so you can get the difference between the verbiage. Okay, here it is. You're a coach who invests 30% of your schedule a week building content to reach an audience in hopes that they'll convert into a client that will pay you in reoccurring revenue. But you're incapable of devising a strategy to create a CTA needed for your prospect to draw into your offer. Just listen to that. Did you hear that? Sure, it's exactly why you're listening to this episode, but it doesn't connect with you emotionally, does it? It's not wording that you use. There's a disconnect between the level of what I'm speaking and you, the person that's listening to this. I know for a fact that you don't use those words to describe those feelings. And so you really don't feel drawn into that as a message, even though what I said was technically on point and it is something that you feel. Now, if I'm going to rephrase this, if I'm going to dial right in and go into what is now called client speak, I'm going to say this same message like this. You're a coach and you've been busting your ass spending 15 hours a week creating content to try and attract clients that are ready to work with a coach and are willing to invest in themselves. All you want is to attract a like minded person who's serious and all in on their health so that way you can have a bucket ton of fun coaching them but still make money doing it. You post daily, but for some reason you get no DMs, no reach outs, or no one asking about your programs. What gives? Well, you don't have to do sleazy cold DM. You don't have to drop a ton of money into ads to get people listening to your message, nor do you need to have some crazy hook or call to action at the end of your post. All you need to do is dot, 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 and say whatever it is. So it's the same message. Do you see the difference? Do you feel the difference? In that same message, you can relate to this times more than you did to the first example that I just said. Because you know what it feels like with my example, and you also feel the difference in my words. You feel how I can relate to the ickiness of cold DMs. You feel how I can relate to your frustration with empty DMs. And you also know that I acknowledge the effort that you took into making that content work, into trying to put something out there. That's how you speak to people in content. It's how you message people who are just like you. You have to place yourself into their shoes, thinking about their thoughts and their pain points, and then use their words to describe their pain points and then showcase their frustrations. So, with the Hormone Helper podcast, I know exactly who I'm speaking to. I'm speaking to the 40-year-old mom who's had two kids who wakes up every single morning feeling tired because her hormones never really went back to normal after her second pregnancy. I'm speaking to the strong woman who books doctor's appointments but gets told by their doctor that their fatigue and their weight gain is just a part of them getting up in age and that they need to just forget about it or go on another diet and watch their workouts. I know the words that she uses. She calls menopause monster pause. She tells me that she's just done with dieting. And she uses words like overwhelmed and needing a game plan. And she wants a coach who knows the struggle of what it takes to lose the same pounds year over year and what that looks like. Do you see how clear that is for me? So when I post, I don't just share information because they can get information anywhere else. I share it in a way that they can say, hey, this guy knows just how I feel and they know exactly where I'm starting. So they can connect and then they can choose to keep listening and watching to decide that if I'm the coach that they want to work with. Now, I tell all the coaches inside our C2C program that you're going to know if you're doing this right. You're going to know if you are talking client speak instead of coach speak, if people are reaching back out to you saying two things. Number one, they're going to tell you to stop talking about their life. Or number two, they're going to say, holy crap, you know me and you're talking straight to me. Either way, these two options are great things. Because for the first one, anyone who's triggered by your content, triggered by the things that you say, they're definitely either need your help in the future or they're going to make the decision to transition away from your audience to stop watching your content. They're going to choose to qualify themselves. And this is good because it's going to shorten the time that it will take for someone to make a decision on whether or not they want to work with a coach and whether or not they want to work with you as their coach, which is really important. Now, for the second thing, number two, if someone sends you a message saying, holy cow, you're speaking right to me. I feel like you're talking and speaking about my life. It will then almost always be followed up by a message saying, what does it look like to work with you? Or how do I get started coaching? And this is what we want from our content. People who qualify themselves by saying yes to your content and then saying yes to themselves. These are the people who will be the least hassle to work with, and they will build an amazing relationship with you where your coaching is going to become fun, it's going to become rewarding, it's not going to be draining, and it's not going to be exhausting. So that's the difference between coach speaking and client speaking. You need to be able to speak to where someone is at and use the type of words that they are saying day to day and not talk over them. Now, I will say, though, there is a trick to this, and I want to talk about it a little bit on this episode too, because you can still say the right things, but say it in the wrong energetic way. And if you change your energy, just like I'm doing intentionally now, it may make a person not want to take action or be connected to work with you. See the difference in energy? So client speaking, or I should say any type of content, period, should always come from an energetic place where people feel drawn to you and they feel driven and encouraged to do what they think and what they want to be possible. So this involves encouraging people to tell them that they're on the right path by doing the right things and that they're making good decisions, even though what they might be doing is not necessarily working out for them. And I don't mean lie, but tell them in a positive way that, hey, you're doing the right things. It's just not working right. Maybe you need to make a few tweaks. Because sometimes I come across coaches who are really great at speaking to a client's level, but do so with the wrong energy. And I read their post and I'm left feeling down. I'm left feeling unmotivated. Or, someone reaches out and they're like, well, I feel like I don't have what it takes to be at your level. They feel smaller than you. And that sucks because when it comes as a coach, like here's what I have to say about energy. Like you can get someone to work with you in tons of different energetic ways. You can get someone to work by energetically guilting them. You can also get someone to work with you by making them feel fear. But the thing is however you start the relationship in terms of energy, you are going to have to keep using that energy to get them to move. So if it's guilt or fear, you're going to have to continue to do that during the entire process of your coaching in order for them to finish your program. And that's not something that I would want to do. So here's what I mean by this. There are people who sometimes create content as coaches that says stuff like, if you don't lose the weight now, you're not going to make it to your next child's wedding. That's really extreme and it's really not positive. Or your diabetes is going to get so bad that losing the weight is going to be impossible and you'll be stuck like this for life. I've even seen coaches say things like, you're not showing up for yourself and you need to man up or double down if you want to succeed. That it's about taking the hard path and doing whatever it takes. Sure, there are tons of people out there who respond to this and who might like the drill sergeant coach. But energetically speaking, is that how you actually show up as a coach? Do you drill sergeant people every day? Is that what makes you pumped and excited to get up in the morning? Because if that's not how you coach, then why are you making content in that energy? Why are you showing up in that fashion for the people that you're trying to convince or you're trying to get excited enough to work with you? You see, most coaches don't even know that this type of energy is present in what they're writing, but it usually comes from writing when they're being reactive about something. So, like, we've all been reactive as coaches. I know I have. Like, maybe you start writing a post after you hopped off a consult, you just got an objection, and the person says to you, I need to think about it. So you're like, nah, forget these people who think that they need to think about it. So I'm going to hop on. You get super frustrated. And so you generate a piece of energetic frustration content and you create a title with the words like, people who spend too much time thinking about their health will always be overweight. Well, okay, even if that's a true statement, it's not a statement that's in good energetic alignment where people are going to want to reach out to you, where they're going to want to communicate with you. And why should they? Right? How does that guilty energy serve them and get them closer to their goals? How does using fear of their struggles get them to a place where they can lift up enough to get excited about taking the next step, which might be booking a call? Because remember something, booking a call is scary. Speaking to a coach can be overwhelming. It can make them nervous. So they're already feeling enough things. So energetically, you want to get them inspired, excited enough for them to be able to take that next step and feel super, super amped about working with you. That combined with client verbiage makes them excited and then makes them resonate and be like, wow, you're speaking straight to me. Because when I sign up clients in our Vantage program, they're in such an energetic high that when they pay, they celebrate. They get pumped to give me their credit card and to say, I'm super excited to invest in myself. They're happy to work with me. They thank me for helping them make the commitment. Our coaching dynamic, it becomes so much different then. I end up becoming their partner in their goals. I become a trusted ally. I become a person that they want to celebrate and share with, not the person who they dodge messages from or get feelings of anxiety when a notification pops in, not the person who they're trying to run from as a coach. Like, they want me as a part of their team. And that's because I show up the same way as I do within my content. So when you make content, just use client speak. Please make sure that energetically they are left at the end of the content feeling like they can, feeling empowered, and feeling like having you on their team is going to be a blessing, not a burden. Attracting clients means connection on an emotional level. So create content like you're speaking directly to them to help them. Now, if you're not sure what types of words that they use, then this is a really easy start. If you've never client spoken before and you're like, I'm always talking at a really high level coach level, then really simple, start interviewing clients. Ask friends what their struggles are, do polls on your social media, and see how they refer to their challenge or their struggle in their life. See what their answers are and see what type of words that they use. You can also do what I do, and that's record your freaking consults. So many people don't do this. Record your consults because they serve two purposes. You can review them each month and build content that supports the actual people who want to work with you. Because why are they on the consult if they don't want to work with you? Because that's easy. And also, recording your consults helps you become a better person to serve people with whatever your offer is. It's simple stuff, but it's the stuff I spend probably 2 months with clients of the C2C program on, because you can have the best program in the world, phenomenal. You can have the best delivery system, the best nutrition plan, the best whatever your program is. But if you can't attract people enough to be in it and to make that commitment to be a part of it and to pay you, well, then guess what? Your program is freaking useless. So client speak, really focus on that, dial in emotionally, make content like that, and do it consistently. And you're going to see completely different change in the people who reach out and in the people who communicate with you. That's all for this episode. Thanks so much for listening in, and go create content that your clients are going to love and love you for. We'll see you on the next episode. Bye.